personality on those benches, and two really seasoned head coaches despite only being in their third year at their respective schools.
It's Wake Forest in white and Syracuse in the pink. Here we go on a Sunday afternoon in the Dome. Burrows trying to take a shot, and she misses, so not quite from where she left off on Thursday.
It is still early, though. 0 for 1 can still turn into a pretty impressive day.
The Orange go to a matchup zone like they've done a lot of times in the last 2 seasons under Coach Jack. Wake Forest second to last in the ACC in scoring, but that works right there with Demeara Hinds. She's one of the best players on this Wake Forest team.
Yeah, the defense just late to move over, found her wide open underneath the basket. Can't let that happen often.
Pick and roll, Wood, no. And Hinds the rebound. She's coming off of an 18-point, 13-rebound effort a week ago in a loss at Florida State. Those 18 points and 13 rebounds, both a career high for her. Bottled up by Verjao now. Wake 10 to shoot. Verjao doing work. And the air ball from Elise Williams. Syracuse with 10 different starting lineups this season. This one the same, though, as last time, as Wooley gets on the board with a nice deuce.
Yeah, highlight bucket, fighting through the defense. You thought for sure that one was going to be put right back in her face. Instead, she gets the finish.
Wooley, 15 points per game. Top 15 in the ACC.
She's by no means been the only option, though, for Syracuse at that guard spot. Certainly the leader when you think of the Syracuse lineup here, but yeah. I think it shows the depth that others players have gotten in and played valuable minutes at that position.
Kick out, there's Turcoff, and she connects. Riley Turcoff, a 32% three-point shooter, and Wake's on top 5-2. Wooley with a spin around, and she hits. So crafty with that fadeaway move in the paint. She's got the first 4 for the Cuse.
Doesn't matter where she is on the floor. You give her space, she'll pull the trigger.
Turcoff in trouble, dumped it down low. Good active hands from Syracuse. The Orange last in the ACC in scoring defense. They've been last in a lot of defensive categories, but ever since that 41-point loss to Boston College a few weeks ago, they've been playing better. 2-2, 2 road victories for Syracuse, with home losses in that stretch against Virginia last Sunday and against a ranked NC State team. And a traveling violation against Malaya Coles.
And you don't really look at those games as bad ones, even the one that they lost by 3 to Virginia and the ranked NC State team, of course, coming in as the favorite in that one.
Verjao, not that time. She does shoot that from time to time. But yeah, that NC State game, they played well in that one. In fact, Wake Forest, before the Florida State loss, nearly came back against NC State, scored a program record 34 points in the 4th quarter.
Finishing my thought, I was looking at a few projections on the margin, the spread at the end of that game, and I saw double digits, getting close to 20 according to some. And to keep that game competitive, even if you end up losing it, I give no fault to Syracuse for that.
Absolutely. You see those conference records there. Only about 7-8 games left for each of these teams before the ACC tournament gets going. It's Wood inside, left it short. And the board goes to Aurora Sorby, the freshman out of Norway. Of course, only the top 15 of 18 teams make the ACC tournament with conference realignment this year. And a good move from Hinds again. Too strong for Syracuse inside. Dom Camp coming off of her first double-double in a Syracuse uniform. She's number 24. Verjao spins around, finds Camp, left alone. And she drills it. Dominique Camp now with 3-pointer in 5 straight games. We're all tied up.
Great open shot from Camp. The ball movement, something we saw in practice this morning, or rather the shoot around, a little less formal. But they were feeding it to her then, and it's paying off so far.
Wooley almost stole from behind, but instead Hinds is left open again. She's been feasting down low. Already her 3rd field goal.
Verjao burnt yet again. That rotation has got to be quicker.
Comes out with a spin, and she traveled a little too ambitious for the Brazilian. And Kira Scott and Sanaya Wilson check in for Syracuse. On the other side, it's Alyssa Andrews for Wake Forest checking in for Hinds, who again scored 6 points already.
Somebody who's looked at often for her rebounding ability more so than her point scoring. She's reminding us that she can do both.
Stolen away, Sorby with the turnover. 3-on-2 break for the Orange for a moment. Inside, Scott. Oh yeah. Kira Scott did not play at Virginia Tech on Thursday. She's been in and out of the lineup all season, but she contributes there.
The Orange lucky that that turned into points. Waited a little bit long to dish that away to Georgia Wooley. Somehow found a spot. And taking a look at the defense to offense here is the steal frees it up at the other end. Wooley again taking a little bit too long to dish it away, but finds two great options inside the feed away to Kira Scott, who got the finish under the bucket, paying off.
Syracuse with a little matchup zone out of the inbound. Turkoff in the lane. Short, and Scott pulls in the board. 2.5 boards for her per game. Tall freshman. And Camp resets the offense. Camp in that double-double at Virginia Tech. 10 assists. She has 17 of those in the last 2 games. Burrows down the lane. No. And she gets it back, though, for a moment. Wrong place, wrong time. Foul against Burrows. Quick start so far here on Pink Dam the Dome. 9-9 score in Syracuse.
Yeah, today means so much for so many as you look at the reason for today. Kay Val, former head coach. And of course, as we were looking at the video over that last break too, Coach Leggett Jack calling out her former assistant coach, now just best friend Sue Ludwig, who also was out of this program.
Yeah, she left the program last year. Doing great stuff. Wilson turns it over. Sorby on the other end. The feed, Turkoff with the acrobatic finish. Off the glass and in. Wake a little 4-0 run here out of the break. Angelica Velez, the ball handler now for the Orange, into the game for the first time today. Burrows hasn't found the score sheet yet today and turns it over. Wake has made 4 of its last 5 field goals in a hurry. Not that time, as Andrews missed the bunny, and Coach Jack going deeper into her bench with Journey Thompson and Shy Hawkins.
A little bit of confusion on that loose ball. Both teams didn't know who was the last touched of it. So do we go for it? Do we let it go out of bounds? Got to be talking.
Yeah. Coach Jack is wanting an explanation, always working the referees.
I think every coach does it at some point, you know. We're watching a few times yesterday where a player would talk to an official and the official would reverse themselves. It's one of the first times I've ever seen that.
That rarely happens. And even more rare is when a player's like, yep, that was off of me.
Exactly.
Or, yeah, I did commit the foul.
The chest taps that say, my bad, guys.
Right. Turkoff, that's a no-doubt travel. A lot of travels so far here in the Dome.
I think everybody's trying to play at a pace that's too fast for them. Slow down. This is still the first quarter. It's like a boxing match in the first round. You're trying to feel out your opponents, see how they'll react. Got to slow down, find your rhythm here.
Hughes hasn't made a shot the last couple minutes as Thompson goes nowhere. Wake Forest, again, hasn't played a game in a week. They've had the mini bye, if you will, and Coach Jebbia talked about how they're finally healthy for the first time since Thanksgiving, as Hinds does more work off the glass. She's got 8.
A healthy finish inside, and this Wake Forest team, when they've got full strength on their roster, they're a totally different team than when they're having to play with injuries.
And Hawkins, I think, saved a ball that was going to go off of Wake out of bounds. Kyra Wood back in for Scott. And it's Tamia Jones into the game here for Wake Forest. First time we've seen Jones since January 16th against Stanford. She's one of those players that Jebbia talked about having back healthy. They were able to practice 5-on-5 for the first time since November.
And that makes a huge difference, not just in the depth that you're able to pull from during a game, but in the practice sense, you're able to run a full-on squad-on-squad scrimmage, get you better looks when you're preparing for a team.
Velez throws it away. Another turnover here for Syracuse. 4 of them now in the last 3 minutes. Syracuse averages nearly 17 turnovers a game, the 4th worst mark in the ACC. 6-0 run here over the last 2 minutes for Wake. Searching for their 2nd ACC win, 2nd road win overall this season. Turkoff in a world of trouble. Down the lane, the scoop and the score.
Wake Forest now 6 of their last 8. Impressive.
Coach Jack told us in shoot-around this morning, Caleb, Syracuse is not good enough to guard Turkoff one-on-one. They need multiple defenders on her.
It's like what they do everything with. It's a team element. You don't have one star, you have a team of them. You don't have one person who's responsible for guarding a team's best player. You got the whole team. Everybody trying to do their job.
Wooley can't answer. Jones the hustle, but to no avail. Sophie Burrows back in for Syracuse. And Reagan Conley in for Wake Forest. Conley started last time out at Florida State, I should say. She transferred from SMU.
For Wake, that's a game that you in some ways want to forget, as it was a dominant loss, but in other ways you want to hold on to that, especially when you got a little bit more time than usual to prepare for this game. You want to take from the lessons there. It looks like they're learning from it.
They certainly are. Aggressive defense against Kyra Wood. Held ball and possession arrow, as you see, favors the Demon Deacons. Syracuse has been stuck on 9 points since we went to that 5-minute media timeout. Hawkins, the freshman, hounding the ball handler. Coach Jack said that Hawkins told her on Thursday, "Put me in, coach. I can do anything." And she impressed. 4 points, 3 rebounds in the win over the Hokies. Inside Hinds again. No. The ball sticks with Wake Forest.
Sophie Burrows coming over the top there. Her right arm was the last thing to make contact with the ball before it went out of bounds.
2.4 in the shot clock for Wake. Conley, short, Wood, the impressive board. Velez surveying her options. She's been another one of these point guards that's been in and out of the lineup this season. Hawkins has it poked away for a moment. Wood inside. She gets it to go. That breaks the nearly 4-minute scoring drought for Syracuse. It's 17-11.
And the spatial awareness from Kyra Wood underneath the basket in a spot where many people would just look up and realize they're not in a spot to score it. She's able to back herself up and put it off the window.
Under a minute to play here in the first. Wake Forest, much better start for them this time out than last week against FSU. But that doesn't help the cause. Velez the steal. Wooley on the break. Dumps it down low, and it's knocked away by Williams as she read the pass to Wood.
When so much of Syracuse's paint presence runs through Kyra Wood, it's not out of the realm that she's probably going to get it. You can predict, just like Wake did here. They're trying to loft it in. Wake has bodies in the lane, able to obstruct that.
Interception, another turnover for Syracuse. These teams have combined for double-digit turnovers, 11 of them. Wake can hold here for the final shot of the first quarter. Jones working off a screen to the corner. Andrews at the charge call. Burrows takes it. That was almost her second personal foul, but it goes against the Deeks.
I want another look at this. I thought that Burrows' feet might have been moving.
Wooley, a half-court heave, good if it goes. She's a good player. So far, that prediction from Coach Jack has proven to be true.
I'm looking at her right now. I see exactly what she's talking about.
Foul against Coles as she reached around Wood on the entry feed. First personal against Coles, the redshirt junior from Wilkesboro, North Carolina, about 55 miles west of Winston-Salem. Burrows, a quiet first quarter for her after her back-to-back career highs. Nice dump down low to Wood, no finish, and Wake controls the rebound.
You kind of feel like it would be a slow game for Burrows. I don't know that many players, regardless of league level, class year, could follow up 28 points with another stellar outing. But again, just one quarter through, there's still plenty of time, even though she's 0 for 2.
And yet another travel here. Hinds, the guilty party. Just walked before she made a decision with the pivot foot. Those turnovers creeping up to nearly 15 between both these teams. Hawkins, stop, fake pump, and another turnover. Here we go, ball on the deck. Wooley comes up with it, great hustle by Hawkins. And amidst all the chaos, Wood was in the lane for too long, 3-second violation against her.
It's hard to get out of the lane when all those bodies collapse in on you. Wake Forest doing a great job of shutting off the lane, not allowing passes to get in, or once the ball does get in, they're collapsing right on it, and you're kind of stuck when you get the ball there. So one of two things that has to happen. Either Syracuse has to get hot from outside and start shooting the three-point ball to get that defense to pull out and close out to shooters, or you've got to start throwing the weight around, spinning the elbows, not trying to bust a nose, but at least saying, hey, get off of me.
I know you're a big UFC guy.
Saw a few of those last night, but they're legal in that sport. They're not legal here on the court. Save it for the octagon.
Syracuse back in the zone, and Wake Forest can't figure it out. Another turnover. Sloppy second quarter.
Speaking of trouble getting it into the paint, right there.
7th turnover for Wake Forest this game, and Jones takes a seat, replaced by Turcoff. Turcoff and Hinds have 15 of Wake's 17 points. Burrows left open for 3. Hawkins, the rebound. No, Wood. And she's pushed from behind. Burrows got as good a look as you could imagine.
Start to watch that foul count. The first for Hinds. Again, averaging 3, but not in any trouble as of yet.
Camp in trouble. You see it on her face. She was worried she couldn't get it in, but it doesn't matter. Burrows, the crafty lay. She's on the board.
Gets the monkey off her back. In the box score officially.
Those are the first 2 points of this quarter. Nearly 2 minutes in. Another lob inside. Hinds, she's too athletic, too good. She's up to double digits.
How does somebody that tall and that strong move with that much finesse? I'll never know.
I think I saw a video the other day of her squatting over 250 pounds from like 2 years ago. It's a lot.
It's got to be close to 300 now, you'd imagine. If that's 2 years ago.
Come on!
You see?
Calling for that. Gotta love the mic under the basket that we picked that up.
Oh, that's great stuff. Get the ball, she says to Aurora Sorby. The top international guard in the class, as Conley splashes from beyond the arc. Nearly a 40% three-point shooter. Wake is up by 9. Oh, Wooley, the nice cross, but no finish. Left it short on the J. And Wake Forest, the score here, can go up double digits. Conley, another. Oh, yeah. Reagan Conley lighting it up. Back-to-back triples for her. Wake leads by 12.
Syracuse's defense late getting to the three-point line. Wake Forest taking advantage. Two beautiful looking shots from outside the rainbow. Wake Forest up big here at the Dome.
You can begin preparing to see the Orange in the upcoming 2025 season by visiting Q-Stock.
Their identity outside the three-point line, both of them shooting just over 30% from deep.
Well, that'll help. Wood inside, if not from beyond the arc. How about inside the restricted area? Wood's got a handful of points here, up to 4. Inside, it's Hinds again with the left hand. Oh, that's too easy.
We shouted out Williams and Turkoff in our pregame show. Hinds, somebody else who can do work scoring the rock.
Williams read the pass from Velez. Here she comes, stops, pops. And it's off of a Wake Forest leg, out of bounds. And here comes Olivia Schmidt. So Schmidt checks in for Velez. Maddie Potts in as well from the break.
Yeah, and she's had it in back-to-back games that I've been on here, going back to Dartmouth before Christmas there on the week of December 21st. She seems to have a fan club that follows her. I love that custom flag up there.
She's from Staten Island.
She's still pretty far. It's about, what, 5 hours? Almost 6.
They've forgotten about Burrow, at least that's what they tell me. Syracuse misses another jumper inside. Coles gathers for a moment, but turns it over. Camp up ahead. Potts leaves it for Burrows. In the Coffin corner, Potts lines one up. Too strong. Syracuse now 1 for 6 from beyond the arc. Wake Forest leading this quarter 10-4. And up by 12 in the game. Deep one for Conley again from the right wing, where she hit the last 2. No good this time. Camp the trail pass to Burrows. She missed her only open look from 3 today, top of the key. Schmidt draws 2. The swing. Camp, bounce feed, that's pretty. And Wood finishes it off. Great feed from Dom Camp.
Syracuse quick to recognize if we've got 2 on Wood defensively, somebody's not covered, and then just quick ball movement. Snap, 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 snap to find the open woman inside.
She could have easily taken that pull-up jumper from the free throw line, but why take a good shot when you can create a better shot?
As my head coach used to say, fake a pass to make a pass.
That'll play. Oh, great spin. Coles, the now you see me, now you don't. Wake back up by 12. Burrows drawing multiple defenders on these handoffs. Schmidt down the lane, the hesitation, keeps the dribble alive. Flips, Burrows, a 3. There it is. Her first triple of the day. Cuse down 9. Burrows over her last 6 games entering this one, shooting 43% from beyond the arc. Remember last year as a freshman shot just 27%. Hinds down low, gobbled up by Syracuse. Good help defense by Burrows. Camp looking for a pass, and she says, get off of me. Foul by Sorby.
Sophie Burrows with a career-high 8 3-pointers made against Virginia Tech. She's got 1 today, but it's a beauty. Swirls around the rim before dropping in, and you got to wonder if this is the point in the game where she gets hot. Scored her first bucket not too long ago, and now her first from deep.
Potts and Wood check out for Journey Thompson and Georgia Wooley. Wooley 4 points for her on 2 of 5 shooting. Again, averages nearly 15 a game. The best on the team. Schmidt, the stop and pop, delay. Burrows the board, and she's bumped.
We talked about it. Got her first from the floor not too long ago. Got her first from deep just moments ago. And now our first opportunities at the charity stripe. Should be.
Sorby, that goes against her, so the freshman from Norway has 2 personal fouls.
Looks like she was in the act of going up for that.
Yeah.
We'll say on the floor. Sorby
out of the game now. Nice pick and roll. Thompson finishes off the glass. Journey Thompson's first 2 today. Lead cut to 7. And timeout, Wake Forest. Megan Jebbia wants to ease this run. Her team's up by 7. And Wake Forest has not led a lot this season, but going back to that last basket, look at this pick and roll, Caleb.
Yeah, this is textbook. Journey Thompson left wide open. The late recovery from Wake Forest doesn't do much to stop that. If anything, it throws Thompson a little bit off guard. She would have finished with 2 hands, but the contact putting it to her left, still able to get the finish.
Journey Thompson, another one of those several players for Syracuse this season that's been in and out of the lineup. Shows up in some games, other games, doesn't play a whole lot. Entering this one just 3 minutes across her last 2, that being Virginia and Virginia Tech.
And Syracuse by no means the lone team in that regard. Wake Forest has had their problems with injuries and all throughout the ACC conference and overall. Everybody's had to rely on their depth, it seems like this season, more than usual.
Turcoff forcing the issue, the kick out. Jordan a 3. Offensive rebound to Andrews. Madison Jordan in the game now as Williams is left alone, but she walks. Too many steps for her.
Just got caught up defensively. Looking at the official for an explanation, but I think it was the contact that got her off her rhythm.
Madison Jordan, who just checked in, another North Carolina native out of Morrisville, just west of Raleigh. Of course, Wake Forest is kind of that low North Carolina school, a couple hours west of everybody else. The research triangle, as they say, Duke, UNC Chapel Hill, and NC State. Jones, Turcoff launches, and Thompson the board.
Looked good, but maybe take a little bit off of it.
Wooley, a little ambitious. Syracuse has tried that lob entry feed the block a lot today. Wake's been good with active hands. Andrews subs out for Hinds.
So then here's what needs to happen in that. If you're going to go over the top or you want to get it into the post, fake the high and then go baseline side bounce pass. If they're expecting it to go over the top, go low.
Right. It's another fundamental play as Syracuse turns it over. Coach Megan Jebbia for Wake wanted a push against Wooley, but it happened right in front of her. There she is talking to the refs. Jebbia, 2-time Patriot League Coach of the Year at American, where she spent 8 seasons. The all-time wins leader there in DC at 160. Syracuse up to 10 turnovers, on pace to be more than their season average. Jones down the lane, the kick out, the steal by Camp. She's good at those. Pesty defender her time at Akron, and Wooley's fouled on the perimeter by Turcoff.
Now free throws this time.
So Wake Forest, with its 5th team foul here of the quarter. Wooley to the line. She's an 88% free throw shooter. Approaching 100 free throw attempts this season. She's now 85 of 96. Leads the team in free throw attempts. No surprise, being the 1B to Deasia Fair last year. Syracuse within 5 now on a 7-0 run. Closest it's been in a while. Syracuse
not afraid to be a comeback team if they have to. It's kind of ironic because thinking back to Thursday, second quarter was their best day, or their best frame shooting the basketball, 73% from the floor.
Hinds inside, the cross-court feed. The three from Jordan, too strong. Thompson wins the battle against Hinds on the rebounding effort. Wooley knocked away again. Burrows, right place, right time. Oh, what a head-seat move from the Aussie. Three-point game in the Dome.
Again, that overhead pass shut down, but luckily Burrows able to recognize where that ball's going and get to it and finish.
Take a look at this. Off of a Wooley mistake, Burrows says, "Thank you very much."
And sometimes it's easy to get caught in indecision land when you're in a fast break. So many options you can do with a full court in front of you. Syracuse starting to get a little bit more confident with where they want to make these decisions, even if it is going to a spot where Wake has shut them down all game long so far, still able to get the finish.
Schmidt with an overzealous act at the midcourt line. Under a minute here to play in the first half. Schmidt hounding Jones. She drives, she dishes. No good for Hinds. Thompson has been kind of effective against her on defense. A storyline to monitor. Is Journey Thompson the remedy against Demeara Hinds?
Could be. Beautiful feed.
But Wake comes up with the steal, and they can hold for the final shot of the half.
Burrows thought she got held under the bucket.
Right. Elise Williams, the ball handler. No points for her. She's the team leader in scoring at over 11 a game. Backing her way down against the smaller Schmidt. The right hand, the step back. And she draws a second personal foul against Schmidt. The freshman guard has picked up both here in the last minute.
She had a move that we'd expect to see in the big game tonight, where had the defender come around her, in this case the offensive player, and got a hold of the shoulder.
Hinds the box set on Thompson. Turkoff, a last second heave, and it goes. That's snap threes anymore. I want actual results. Wake in front by 5 out of the halftime break. Turkoff, who hit that buzzer beater, flips it over to Hinds. More of the same from the first half with those two.
You saw frustration from Coach Leggett-Jack, hands on her head in frustration. Hinds is wide open. That can't happen.
Nice flex action for a little bit for Syracuse. And Sorby commits the foul on Burrows. That is the third personal against Sorby.
Just watching the body language from Coach Jack as well. Tells you exactly what she's thinking.
Burrows a quick trigger, and she sticks it. Nice baseline two. They like to run that play. Hughes within 5 again. Wooley, like she's done a lot in her time at Syracuse, picking up near midcourt in the second half. She'll just run.
I like this defensive look too, as Sorby goes to the right side, her favorite side. Syracuse shuts off the floor. Camp in the baseline corner, comes up and forces into that trap with Georgia Wooley defending. They're giving him no room to operate on the favorite side, forcing him to go left and be uncomfortable.
They're forcing Williams left. She dumped it down low to Coles. She hesitates. Gets it on the ground. Swarms. And a shot clock violation. Rather,
it looked like Jebbia called timeout. He was signaling for one. She might have been late for it.
Syracuse has the ball off that defensive stand. Camp controlling the traffic. Journey Thompson starting the second half, leaves it short. Remember, Thompson did nice work on defense against Demeara Hinds in the second quarter. Thompson, a player who averages only 12 minutes a game. He doesn't play in every game. She's bottling up Williams right now. Williams scoreless in the first half, the leading scorer on the Demon Deacons. Pulls down low, off the window and in. Nice use of the body to work around Thompson.
Yeah, that's a mismatch. Cole's the stronger of the two, just able to beat it through towards Thompson.
Wooley to Burrows. Wood gets pushed from behind by Turcoff, an easy call. Second personal against the sophomore guard out of Tenafly, New Jersey, just north of New York City.
Yeah, that was clear. You saw it going away. I was surprised about the no whistle until it finally came.
A lot of times you'll see that offensive player sky in for the offensive rebound, and in midair they'll get that blow from behind, and an easy call for the referees.
Forearm check.
Yes. Wooley the drive, the fake spin, and a deuce. Nicely done by Wooley.
How in the world did she get that to go? Two white jerseys all over her, wearing the Wake Forest defense like a backpack, and somehow able to finish.
Turcoff down the lane, muscles it too strong, Hinds the board, and she's fouled by Thompson.
You heard Turcoff frustrated that she didn't get the call, but no doubt grateful that at least somebody on her side did. And I kind of agree. That was a physical knockdown to the floor from Turcoff.
First team foul of the half for the Orange, who again have never led today. Sorby, the runner. An offensive foul by Hinds, her second personal.
Averages 3 a game, already at 2, with about 17 and a half minutes to play overall.
And the third of this half already for Wake Forest. Wooley trying to post up on the left elbow. Good defense by Williams to thwart that. Wooley the cross, the double team, held ball.
Coach Leggett Jack does not understand how that could be called a jump ball. She thought her girls had it. Still talking to the official on that far side.
A pretty controlled Felicia Leggett Jack for the moment.
Well, she's not somebody who will always let it be shown that she's frustrated. Her words will do the talking, literally. She's not really a huge foot stomper or a chair thrower if you go back to Bobby Knight. Anybody like that.
Meantime, Wooley got whacked in the lane, trying a fake spin, redirected, and got clobbered. Yeah, Bobby Knight, you don't see the coaches like that too much these days. As Hinds takes a seat, that was her third personal foul. That's the storyline you've been talking about.
I called it early.
But here's Wooley, her second trip to the line. She's taken the only free throws of the entire game for either side. She's 3 of 3 from the line. She had 14 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists at Virginia Tech. Rolls it in. Coach Jack said after the game, Georgia Wooley is at her best when she's playing calm, like she did in Blacksburg. A game where Syracuse scored over 90 points, right now just at 32, but within 3. Alyssa Andrews in some trouble. Andrews checked in there for Hinds.
And you got to wonder how different this game would be if the paint presence had been a little bit more smooth over that first half. Starting to find that rhythm now.
Yep, Syracuse forces Wake into a long 2. Inside it's Wood. Goes to work, the spin, the sauce, no good. Rebound to Alyssa Andrews.
The back iron can be unforgiving sometimes. It was there.
Williams controlling for Wake, still scoreless in over 21 minutes of action today. She averaged nearly 13 and a half in the month of January. Down low, the feed, and goals the bucket.
The switching for Wake Forest, always finding that open spot of the floor. That's what's getting them ahead.
Wooley the spin, left it short. Here comes Wake up ahead, Turcoff. Good closeout, Williams the trail. Burrows battling, tips it out to Camp, a 1-on-3. She settles it down. Burrows straight away.
Had the open look, but that turnaround to see who was behind her, I think that's what threw off the rhythm.
Good point.
Got to pull it, and even if you're in the air and there is somebody behind you, got to rely that you can maybe sell the hit from behind and get those 3 at the line instead.
She makes up for it there. The steal, the up-head pass. Wooley on the break, gets it to go. Looking like a Mahomes to Kelsey later on today. The up-ahead pass down the seam.
I certainly hope not. I'm pulling for the Eagles in the big game later today, but that the only field goal for Syracuse in the last 3 minutes. They needed it.
It's felt like Hughes has been within 3 or 5 points the entire game. The drive from Andrews, and she flips it in.
I will mention I'm not an Eagles fan. I am a Browns fan, but
Yes.
I did spend last weekend in Philly and grew to like that city. Have never been out to Kansas City, so maybe that'll change whenever I get out to Missouri.
Browns, not a whole lot of winning in their history.
Oh, not at all.
Camp, the drive, tipped alive, Williams cascades into Wooley. And that'll be a foul on Wooley.
Syracuse with some points off a drive-in dish. Georgia Wooley with a smooth finish in transition, right hand, flips it up and drops it in. Syracuse still alive in the third.
To the locker room, and according to the team, she's currently being evaluated by medical personnel and has not returned to the court.
Thanks for the update, Maria. In shoot-around today, we saw Isabella Zhao grimace tracking down a long rebound. So definitely something to keep an eye out for as we get into the final 14 minutes of this one. Williams against Burrows. Pick and roll, the hesitation, the flip, good hands by Sanaya Wilson, who just entered the ball game along with Olivia Schmidt, who controls right here. Schmidt hurrying. She had a team high +7, plus minus in the first half. The freshman guard. Feeds, Wilson down low. Nope. And Hinds there for the board.
Wilson taking it herself. She passed up a wide open Dominique Camp outside at the perimeter.
Andrews, the spin, the kick out to Jones. She tries a 3, well short. Wake Forest just a 32% three-point shooting team entering this one as Turcoff got a mitt in the way against the dribble of Hawkins. Turcoff, third personal. So Turcoff, Sorby, and Hinds all have 3 fouls, 3 of Wake's starters.
And this could be the turning point in that regard where Wake Forest has gotten ahead through the play primarily of those 3 players. And if you can't use them late, you allow Syracuse to fight their way back. They're hanging in there already, but even without them, my goodness.
Syracuse already in the bonus. Shia Hawkins, 16 of 19 from the line this season. There you go. Those are those 3 starters in foul trouble. So Hawkins free throw number 21 of the year coming up. So she makes it a 4-point game in the dome.
Mentioned that Hinds typically has 3 per game, already 3.5. Could be upping that average after today.
Off the flare screen, Reagan Conley travels. She was so open, she got giddy. Syracuse takes over. Turnover number 13 for the Deacs. They average about 16.5 a game.
Got surprised by how open she was. It's a human thing.
Camp puts on the deck, pops.
Get it!
A good board by Turcoff. Hawkins read it, but out of bounds. So Hawkins and Schmidt, two freshmen, playing meaningful second half minutes here for Felicia Leggett-Jack, searching for answers. Syracuse, one of its last 7 from the field. And Syracuse on the right side of the cut line to make the ACC tournament. Wake Forest in the basement right now. They trap the ball handler. Left alone, it's Conley. Not a chance. Burrows the board, the up ahead. They had a 3-on-1 for a moment. Can't change his course. Schmidt here played a key role in the win at Clemson a couple weeks ago. She takes one. Offensive board, Wilson, and she collects it and goes up strong.
Coach Gebbia told us one of her big focuses for Wake Forest was defensive rebounding, so it wouldn't end up in opportunities like that for the Orange. Need to get back on track in that regard.
Yeah. And Schmidt forces a tie-up. Possession arrow stays with Wake Forest. Yeah, Gebbia said it's the biggest concern that she has, rebounding. Yeah. Wake Forest just 31 boards a game, over 4.5 fewer than the second worst team in the ACC, Virginia Tech. Turkoff, the rip through, and creates the foul on Schmidt. Third personal against Schmidt. It's fascinating. Schmidt making a positive impact this game for the most part without scoring. She has not scored since that Dartmouth game. As Turkoff launches, misfires, Burrows the rebound.
But it just shows that the box score is not king of everything.
Yep.
You can still make hustle plays that go unrecorded, but not unnoticed.
And directing the traffic again. Syracuse can tie or take the lead. The cross, keep the dribble alive. Schmidt, the behind the back, no. Burrows there, 5 to shoot. She notices it, the lefty flip, and we're all tied up.
Beautiful finish from Sophie Burrows. I thought for sure that missed pass was going out of bounds, but Burrows, the hustle play, and a beautiful finish.
The crowd is alive. Hinds, no answer, but Hawkins can't secure it. 3.5 minute scoring drought for Wake Forest right now. Syracuse has tied up the game for the first time since we were 2 minutes in.
Chance to maybe take the lead, and Syracuse threw it out of bounds. Gotta get another stop.
Tamia Jones, the inbounder.
Watch this battle low. Hinds gonna set the screen, and she's gonna roll off of this.
Good block by Hawkins. She read it all the way. Jones gets a hand in there.
Schmidt calling for it far side.
Sticks with Syracuse as the front court players try to connect from block to block. Watch Hawkins. Beautiful rejection.
Wake Forest trying to draw the foul instead of putting it to the rack. I think that one was a little bit of a misread. Got caught under the basket in a less than optimal spot and just tried to draw it from the free throw line.
Schmidt left alone, no. Wilson fights, ball on the deck still. Hinds comes up with it for Wake Forest. Here's the up ahead, 2-on-none. Turkoff left alone, and Wake is in front again. 10 seconds to play in the third.
Camp one more opportunity. If she hits from deep, Syracuse will lead for the first time today.
Burrows wants it. She drives, spins, the feed. Hawkins, not sure she got it up in time, doesn't matter. And we end the quarter with a 2.
Morning here to get the Orange during their shoot around. Gino playing late last night, you playing late last night, didn't stop you from being at the Dome to do your job the next day. Impressive. I applaud you both.
Thank you, Caleb. Well, it feels a lot better to show up here this morning and this afternoon with the feeling of victory as Williams misses and Burrows snags the loose ball. Syracuse here, of course, hoping for a victory themselves. Schmidt left alone. No good. That would have been for the lead. Williams, by the way, on the other end, still scoreless. Wake Forest.
That's impressive.
Yeah, Wake Forest still leading without its top scorer on the score sheet. In search of just its second road win of the season. It's knocked away by Wilson.
That registered late after you said that, but Wake Forest getting caught doing the same thing that Syracuse was doing earlier.
Wooley, the left hand flip, tied up at 41.
See if Wake Forest heeds my advice. Use the bounce pass to get it into the lane. Nobody is defending that. They're all over the top.
Left alone, Turkoff, no answer. Sanaya Wilson rips down the rebound. Wooley feeling herself. The drive, the flip, and it rolls out. Burrows is there. And she falls over, but not before a foul on the floor.
This will get free throws, but Burrows, if you've got it up off the rebound, put it up right there. Don't take it down. Keep the cookie jar up on the shelf. Don't bring it down to where everybody else can get into it. I think that kept Syracuse from being in front right now, but a chance here under their own basket.
Wood and Hinds check in for each respective team. Hawkins and Andrews to the bench. Schmidt still out there, inbounding it, doesn't have anybody open for a moment. 15 to shoot, Wooley dancing. Finally received an outlet. Wilson down low, in trouble. Bad pass by Schmidt.
Can't go over the top. The defense is too smart. Got to find another way to get it in.
12th turnover of the game for Syracuse. They have done a lot better in this half, though.
They have.
The ball. Williams down the lane, the hesitation, and the score. The first 2 points of the ball game for Elise Williams.
And it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. Later than she usually does, but she's back to her scoring ways.
Wood low block, muscles it home, count the foul. A chance for a three-point play for Kyra Wood off the pick and roll.
Beautiful feed in from Burrows, fakes the direction, goes towards the center of the lane, and then just powerful with the one hand, falling away, hooking it over the defender. Malaya Coles, great job defending, but better offense from Kyra Wood.
Wood, a 64% free throw shooter for the lead. Yes, Syracuse has its first lead of the afternoon. 44-43.
64% shooter from the charity stripe, but 100% when it matters.
Yes. Sorby switched off to for a moment. Coles, and an offensive foul goes against Wake Forest. Hinds picks it up, her fourth personal, as she discharged Kyra Wood.
I want another look at this. Fights around. Oh, I don't know about that. Looked like Wood was trying to hold her back, and as she felt that Hinds was coming behind her, put on a little bit of an Oscar-worthy performance there. Now, there is a difference between flopping and selling the foul, though.
Sure.
So maybe there was contact, and then the extra motion just drew attention to it.
Wooley tries to split the defense, gets it back. Driving down the alley and draws the foul. Reagan Conley in the area. And she picks up the foul, first personal against Conley out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Again, Wake Forest has somehow not attempted a single free throw today. Syracuse, on the other hand, taking free throws 8 and 9, and Wooley connects. She is 5 of 5 from the line. And that was free throw attempt number 100 for her this season, so she's now 89 of 100, and that one's good too. 3-point lead for Syracuse.
They're called free throws for a reason. They're not supposed to cost you anything if you can put them in. Coach Leggett Jack stressed during practice and shoot around this morning that was going to be a big part of their game. You could hear her getting frustrated when her team wasn't putting in these seemingly easy shots. Syracuse so far, knock on wood, perfect at the line.
Boy, the nice interception. Read Williams' pass perfectly. Burrows thought about it. 17 turnovers now for the Deeks. Wooley the drive, no good. Pulls the board.
That had field goal written all over it from Burrows, but instead decides to pass it up. Syracuse comes away without any points.
Down the lane, the extra feed. Andrews answers. She is 8 of 12 from behind the arc this season, and we're tied up again. Andrews, like I said, doesn't take a whole lot of them, but when she does, she usually hits them. Burrows drawing the second defender on the hedge. Wood inside, under 10 to shoot. Kicks out. Wooley takes it. Wilson fights for a moment. Sorby collects for the Deeks. And a timeout by Megan Gebbia. Wake Forest and Syracuse dueling it out.
They've also been facilitating, too, parts of that team scoring that isn't directly tied to them on the box score.
Wake has led for most of this game. Inside, Coles the spin and a flip in. Nice use off the top of that window. And Wake's back in front.
Syracuse got to be smart here. They've passed up a few open looks to try to get it into that paint. Wake Forest defense too strong inside the lane. Got to find other ways.
Burrows off the curl, sends it over to Camp. And Coles with the foul. Fourth personal against Coles. 48-46 here on ACC Network Extra.
Here's today's Visions Federal Credit Union fans of the game. They are Maddie, Lulu, Wiley, and Chris. Thanks for coming out and joining us today. Enjoy the rest of the game and cheer on the Orange. Now please turn your attention to the video board for today's group welcomes. Time for Wheel of Cans. Let's see where it stops. And it's Simba Can.
We've got a doozy of a game here in the JMA Wireless Dome. Austin Barrick with Caleb Spinner, Wake Forest 48, Syracuse 46. Caleb, foul trouble, the name of the game for Wake Forest right now. Hinds, one away from fouling out.
Yeah, the Demon Deacons out in front late in this game, but the players that got them there at risk of taking a permanent seat on the bench. Hinds, of course, has 4. The rest of those 3, as you saw, have 3 apiece.
Sanaya Wilson at the line connects. A 54% free throw shooter. Her first one today. Wilson dealt with a lower body injury earlier this season. Misfire, so Wake leads by 1 still. But Wood, the hustle, keeps it with Syracuse. Wilson returned to play just 1 minute at Virginia Tech after missing the last couple. He's been a force here in this second half. Wooley with Wood, the 2-man game. The half spin, the turnaround blocked away. Coles, the nice wrap around to Williams. Elise Williams just 2 points on 1 of 5 shooting. Averages over 11 a game, the top mark on this Deeks team. Williams down low. Poked away. Burrows on the ground. Here comes the Cuse. Wooley with options. Burrows, the hesitation, the drive, and the finish. Syracuse back in front.
Nice use of the hesitation to get to the lane, freeing up with the jab step.
Sorby's been quiet today on offense. Just 0 of 1. No points for her. Coles with the travel. Easiest one we've seen today, and we have seen a lot today.
Syracuse happy with it, giving high fives right in front of her face.
Demeara Hinds back in with those 4 personal fouls, replacing Coles, who just traveled.
I would be very surprised if Syracuse just doesn't go all out towards Hinds. Try to draw number 5, get her out of there.
Maybe we'll pick and roll action with Wood in one of these actions.
Does feel weird calling Syracuse the orange when they're clad in pink.
Hinds guarding Wood. It's Burrows now with the ball. Penetrates the paint, scoops it up, way too strong. Wilson the board. Wilson left it short, and Wake comes away with it.
Got to be selectively strong. Go up strong to get through the defense, but then turn on the finesse as you get to the rim.
Hinds draws a foul. Wilson, you heard her scream, oh my God. First personal against the Rochester native. Just the first team foul of the 4th for the Orange.
Still no free throws for Wake.
Williams trying to draw the foul, dishes low. Burrows, the swipe, and the hold ball. Possession keeps it with the Demon Deacons. 49-48. Both of these teams are 2-5 this season in games decided by 10 points or fewer. Sorby, a 3. And Wood the board. Sorby makes just below 30% of her long balls. Burrows, the drive, the kick. Wooley, the stick. Beautiful basketball for Syracuse. They've got a 4-point lead.
Textbook ball movement, finding the open option, sending it low, kicking it back outside. Passed up an option in the paint with Sanaya Wilson, but a great decision to do so. Burrows out wide open, the closeout late from Sorby. The Orange out in front by 4. Beautiful. Watch this. Ooh. The best sound in sports.
Yes,
I nylon, totally crisp.
Agree. Burrows drawing so many defenders with her recent success The scouting reports have been a little different for her. Remember, Burrows last year as a freshman averaged just 4.5 points on 27% shooting from three-point range. Over these last 6 games, entering today, she scored 15 or more in 5 of those 6. Before then, she had just 15 points in 3 of her first 46 career games.
Wow.
She's been heating it up, and it hasn't been the biggest scoring output for her. 13 points on 6 of 13 from the field. But the 8 rebounds and the 2 assists, none bigger than that one just a moment ago.
And it's interesting to see how the game plan evolves, right? Isabel Vergel out right now for Syracuse. That forces you to change the focus if you're the Demon Deacons. You're no longer really looking in towards the paint when she's not in there. So you have to change mid-game in a close one to prioritizing the outside shot now. It's kind of throwing the Demon Deacons out of whack here of how they came into this game, what they expected coming into this game.
Another thing out of whack for the Deeks. Again, 0 free throw attempts this game. The last time that they shot no free throws in the game was January 9th of 2022, a blowout loss against Florida State. Williams handling the ball. Camp in her grill. 10 to shoot already. Good hands and a steal. Camp alone. She goes up and scores. A steal and a score for Dom Camp. Cuse by 6.
Better safe than sorry. Great use of the 2 hands rather than trying to go with the 1. Style points doesn't get you anything else, but putting in those 2 certainly does.
Williams, Wake needed that. And Wilson, with the help from Wooley, saves it. Wake is crumbling here in the last couple minutes. 3 turnovers in the last 3.5, and a foul in the backcourt.
Sorby's going to get her 4th.
Yep. The Norwegian fouls the Australian in the backcourt. And that sends Georgia Wooley to the line, where she is 6 for 6 today with a 6-point lead right here.
Syracuse fans frustrated at you. They keep waiting for the broadcaster jinx to happen. Keep mentioning that perfect number.
I feel like you were really egging that one on.
That was not me. That was you. Good partner.
Syracuse still up by 2 possessions. Wooley makes it a 3-possession ball game.
It is odd. We've been here all day since that early morning practice. In the Dome, whenever an Orange player is at the line, it gets quieter than when there was nobody in here.
Hinds the turnaround, left it short, thought she got hit in the nose. An 8-0 run right now for the Orange, and Turcoff commits the foul against Camp.
She's frustrated with that call, and I think she has every right to be. I don't think that was as much a foul as it was selling some minimal contact.
4th personal against Turcoff. I mean, at this point, fouling out isn't as big of a deal given that Wake's down by 7. But many of these players, 4 players have 4 fouls for the Deeks.
And it's not like this is a game that's in overtime, and so you've got more time than necessary through a game to commit those fouls. This is just regulation. And we're still getting towards the top of what's allowed.
Dom Camp 13 of 17 from the line this season. That'll help. Her first free throw attempt of the game. She goes 2 of 2. Syracuse by 9 points, under 90 seconds to go. Wake has only won 1 road game this season. It came at Charlotte on November 7th, and that won't help the cause. Another travel against Wake Forest.
Hinds confused on how that happened. A sign of maybe the brakes coming undone.
21 turnovers for Wake Forest today.
And now Syracuse just playing keep away. You don't need to score anymore. You just need to burn those seconds off the clock.
No good for Camp. Wake's got numbers. Turkoff with Burrows to beat. Blocked away. But she was fouled in the act of shooting.
And here's why. Straight up, straight up, straight up. Arms in the air, yes, but she came down on an angle towards that player shooting. If you just stay straight up, you don't angle, you trust that by you keeping your arms in the air, that's going to throw off the shot. Coming down is what gets that foul.
See, first free throw today for the entire team for Wake. Take another look at Wooley. Hard fall for her. That's par for the course for her. Turkoff makes both, nearly an 80% foul shooter.
Wearing a pad on her left knee, but just the sleeve on the right shin.
Burrows with a nice save in front of us, and Turkoff has fouled out.
Foul on number 14, Riley Turkoff. That's her 5th personal foul.
Demeara Jones to come in replacement. You got to wonder if now maybe Syracuse will attack Hinds to get her out, though. Up 7 with not even a minute to play. You don't really have to get anybody else out of here.
Sophie Burrows on the line for Syracuse with 2 shots.
You got to imagine. There's still some time if you hit a few back-to-back threes, but it's not as urgent as it used to be.
Right. Burrows doesn't take many free throws. That was just her 27th free throw attempt of the season. For reference, she came into this one with 124 three-point attempts. She goes 2 of 2. 9-point lead again for the Cuse. Sorby stuck at no points today. Deke's got to shoot some threes here. Conley thought about the step back. Sorby, they need this one. They don't get it. And a tie up down low between Hinds and Burrows as Wooley is on the deck. Possession arrow favors Syracuse. At what point do you call off the dogs?
I don't know if ever. Coach Debbia told us that she's very competitive. She admires that her team has been very competitive even when they go on to lose games. So I don't know if pulling the goalie, if you will, is in her blood.
Syracuse is in position to move to 6-0 all-time against Wake Forest at home and win their 3rd straight against the Demon Deacons. They won by 20 last year at Winston-Salem and won by 9 points 2 years ago here in the Dome as Camp makes the free throw. 11-point game. Timeout, Wake Forest. Coach Debbia has to draw up at least one play to get them started, as you see where we're at with the Wake Forest foul issue. Turkoff is out, and those 3 players are 1 away from also being disqualified. But again, 11-point game. If Wake Forest does not score on this possession, the game is effectively over.
And I would argue that it not just has to be a score, it's got to be a 3. You can't, if you're down 11, you can't be getting into it with just 2-pointer, 2-pointer, 2-pointer. You've got almost half a minute, just a little over. It's got to be deep ball or nothing.
Syracuse men's basketball was up 67-62 with 20 seconds left in regulation yesterday, and BC forced overtime. This one much more favorable for the women. Hinds down low. 1 and a foul, doesn't get it, and that should probably do it. Syracuse playing keep away. Wake Forest not fouling for a moment, and now Sorby is out of the game with 5 fouls.
The mandatory substitution for Wake should be coming in here. Yep.
Tamia Jones enters for Aurora Sorby. Tough day at the office for the Norwegian. 0 points in 28 minutes. Wooley at the line. Not that time.
Somebody yell, are you serious? Might have been her frustrated at that miss.
Wooley, 10 straight games in double figures scoring. Makes it a 12-point lead, 20 seconds to go. Wake in no hurry. Williams the step back. Wilson the rebound. Well, Wake Forest pushed Syracuse, but the Orange pull one out in the dome.